Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you all. Listen, today I'm so glad you're here right now because today we're going to talk about creating your own economy in this crazy shifting world we're in. Listen, you already have a commodity. You already have assets that people want and need, and you don't have to go get inventory. You don't have to buy it. It already lives in here. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How do you share what you know, a skill, a hobby, a passion, an expertise, an experience you went through, a mess you went through? How does that become the commodity? How do you package it? How do you confidently share it? How do you sell it? And in today's world, how great would it be to have a skill where you could impact people's lives and create next level success? Listen, this is definitely the craziest time I've ever been in my life. It's why I'm doing this training today. A little later, you'll hear from Mr. Tony Robbins as well. Why are we doing this? Because the world is broken. It's changed, but it's actually shifted. And those that move with the shift, those that understand where the world is going, aren't left behind. Those are the ones that become the role models, the leaders, the ones that innovate. And that's what we're going to be sharing today. I encourage you, if you're ready for another level, if you're ready to pivot, if you're ready to shift, if you're ready just to be an investigative reporter and see what Tony and I have been up to see what it's like to be a part of the digital economy, the virtual economy, then I'm going to encourage you to stick tight. Don't judge this in advance. Don't think that you know what we're talking about until the end. And we have some amazing opportunities at the end and bonuses and cool stuff that we're going to be sharing. And again, Tony will be here later as well to share his message. And what we're going to be talking about today is really three secrets, the three big buckets to break down this industry. The sell what you know industry, the knowledge industry, the upskilling industry, the self-education industry. And before you judge it, I know so many times we think, am I an expert? Do I have something to share? Could I really do something from home, virtually? Could I do a training, a workshop, a mastermind, create a course? Could I even, is that even something that's a part of me? I think sometimes we default to, I don't know if I'm an expert. I don't know if I have the credentials. Well, I think that it's the credential myth, right? Think about how many times we're kind of waiting for someone to anoint us, to give us the permission, to give us initials. Believe me, if that was the case in my life, if I needed any of those things, I would absolutely be screwed, for lack of a better word. And think about this. Pull this up. I just want to give you a little inspiration here. Think of these people without credentials. Walt Disney. How about Oprah, what she's done for the world? Or how about Steve Jobs? God, if you looked at their resume before they started and you thought this is where they'd go, you'd never expect them to end up there. And there's one thing I want to do, and you could pull this up. I want to give a little results disclaimer, because if you know anything about me, if you know anything about Tony, we're not about how to get rich overnight without doing nothing. This isn't the make millions for hitting a few buttons on your keypad. Yes, what we're going to be sharing is about an industry that's a $365 million a day industry, and Forbes said it'll be $1 billion a day by 2025. The shift in the world is actually making it grow even faster. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the world. And you can pull that back up, Mike. This is for a fact, this is the #1 secret of Tony and I on how we've created more success than any other one thing. And yes, every day people worldwide are using our secrets to find another level, to impact lives and create next level success. But we're not saying that this is going to make you rich. We're not saying it's going to make you money at all. Today, we're just pulling back the curtain and showing you no matter where you are, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what your past looked like, no matter what skills you have or what you've learned from other people, that is an absolute commodity in today's knowledge world. We are in the information age. People, when we think about something of value, I know, listen, if you're a part of my family right now in the chat, no matter where you are, have we delivered, Tony, myself, me, have we delivered you value from just what we shared? I know Tony Robbins delivered the most value in the world to me 2 decades ago. He changed my life forever. I'll talk about that in a little bit, right? So here's the crazy part. When you think of value that comes from this experience and knowledge, you might think of Tony and myself and Dale Carnegie and Earl Nightingale or a million other people, but guess what? You have just as much value living inside of you. And we're going to show you how to unlock it, package it, share it, impact lives, and create success and enter this incredible digital economy that's absolutely exploding. Like, let's pull this up. What about Lisa? I love this. I love this. I just got this one yesterday on my desk. These are happening every single day. But Lisa had a dance studio, and then something happened to all of us. COVID hit. Nobody going to her dance studio. She had a pivot. She got strategies from Tony and I and turned everything virtual and started teaching her classes online through a simple process. And again, I know it sounds crazy. She had an expertise. She was in the dance world. She figured it out. But all of a sudden, she had to go virtual. It went so good that not only does she teach virtual, she also teaches other businesses now how to take their businesses from online or offline to online. That's how the world has shifted. We are in a new world. Tony said this about 2 months ago. It sticks with me. Is the world is like Humpty Dumpty broke. It never goes back together the same way. Our world has shifted. It's not going back the same way. We're supposed to socially distance, so we're virtually connecting. And this gives us all another level of opportunity. But if you're thinking, okay, so Lisa had a skill, she just converted it online, and now she shares it through weekend workshops and Zoom trainings, right? But what about Nancy? Nancy was an immigrant who came to America and couldn't speak English. And everybody told her she should just get a job doing services. Like, you can't speak English, just, being honest, go be a maid, do something like that. And she would not accept that. And she found a way to get a job in management as a product manager and became an absolute asset. So now that's a skill. That was let's just call that a mess. That was a mess. She came to America, didn't speak English, not sure what she could do, wouldn't settle for less, found a way to break through, and now what does she do? She teaches other immigrants how not to settle, how they shouldn't just take the first job that comes along, and how they can do better. She's absolutely killing it. Know that everybody I share tonight, everybody I share today, is doing amazing in this virtual knowledge industry when they were scared, when they didn't know, like, what do I have to share? Absolutely everything. When you are a chapter ahead of someone else, when you have figured something out, somebody is starting off where you left off. I don't care if you're an accountant or 4,600, 5,000 different niches that Tony and I have identified with the people we already work with. Every single niche, everything that you've gone through, someone else is about to go through it. And you can take them to that next level. Now, I always love to say this. Who's this training for? Anyone that has a business and is ready to scale it to another level. If you're looking to make more impact on the world, serve at the highest level, simultaneously creating next level success. Someone ready to launch a new business or finally do their own thing. Someone that knows you got to do the work and figure it out. Who it's not for? Somebody looking for a business in a box, getting rich for doing nothing. Point a few fingers on a keyboard and make money. If that's what you're looking for, you wouldn't be here. There's a million of those online. That's not who we are. What we're doing today is showing you that I believe, and so does Tony, that the only way for you to go to that next level, to tap into your full potential, to create the impact and success you want, you have to be a part of an industry that's exponentially growing. That's it, this industry. And you have to have something that people want. You have that. It lives here. We got to show you how to unlock it. And then when you understand how to package it and sell it, your life will never be the same, especially in this virtual world. And listen, Tony and I have 60 plus years in this industry. Let's just be honest. 60 years. This is not new to us. Tony started 43 years ago. I started 23 years ago. I think I have more time than anyone except him. He makes me look like a baby. And thank God we're partners and friends because I learn so much from the man every single day of my life. So that's what we're going to learn today. Now, before we get started, for those of you who are just meeting me, I'm going to brag a little bit, but then I'm going to humble myself because I just want you to understand what's possible when I share something like this. It really is great to understand what's possible and where people come from, right? Could you pull these slides up, Mike? Yes, Tony was someone who changed my life a long time ago, and now I get to be his partner and friend. That's us in Fiji doing a high-level mastermind. I get to hang out with cool people like Richard Branson. You know, he called me one day and said, hey, man, I need to meet you. No, not really. I just donated a lot of money to his charity. We raised money, and he invited me to his island, had an amazing time. What a cool dude. He's got a huge heart. Larry King was someone I watched as a kid, interviewing everybody. I got to be on his show. That was fun. My dear friend Trent Shelton, we helped design and launch his product. I told him when I met him, the world needs more Trent. Russell Brunson, what a dear friend. Jamie Kern Lima, we're working on launching her book to the world. She's entering the knowledge industry. This is a woman, if you don't know her, who started working at Denny's and not that many years later sold her cosmetic line that everybody told her she wasn't thin enough, she wasn't the right shape, she wasn't this, she wasn't that, it would never work. She sold her cosmetic line to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion and became the first CEO in L'Oreal's 100-year history. Pretty amazing. We get to do some really cool stuff. Tony and I did the biggest training and online launch in history last year and the year before. And all this cool stuff I get to brag about, but let's just get real. And let me just tell you where it started. That barn, that's a legit barn I went back to a few years ago. And I worked out of that barn fixing one car at a time, living in a 300 square foot apartment. I know that barn looks crazy, but I was fixing cars, doing brakes and painting and engines and changing spark plugs and changing oil, one car at a time just to survive, trying to figure out life. That house, I went back to that with my wife last year. I lived in that house with my dad. I know it looks bad there. That was a house I lived in. When I first moved in with my dad, there was no heat in that house. We had electric, so we had a little electric heater. And I tell that story for a reason, and I'm not saying your past needs to be as like mine was, but that's a true story. And that is a trailer I lived in with my mom. That picture was taken recently. It looked way better when I lived in there. I'm just going to be honest. That's 30 years, oh my God, 40 years ago, 40 plus years ago. So it's an old trailer now. It was a pretty nice trailer when I moved in there. And I'm not making fun of trailers, but I just love showing where we came from or where I came from. And you could take those down, Mike. But let me just tell you this. We all have a past. It doesn't matter where you come from. If you're watching me, if you're spending the time today, if you were part of previous programs and you're here today, you're here because you want another level. And it doesn't mean you want another level because you're greedy or just want money. I just want to be rich. Most people who make it give it back. They help the people they love. It's like when they say put your oxygen mask on and help others. That's all we really want. We want to be so secure that our oxygen mask is on, we can breathe, and then we want to put it on the people we love, and then we want to do causes and help other people and spread the love, right? I want to tell you, for me, my past. I want to tell you why I'm here, why self-education is so important, why Tony and I are obsessed on this, why we're working on this like and making this a movement, because we know what it's like. Tony's got a very similar story. For me, I watched my parents struggle. Both my parents worked really hard. They split when I was 3. We moved a lot in and out of Graham's house, trailer. Moved in with my dad with no heat. All this, go to school with no lunch money. But I watched them both work really hard. And I also learned at a young age, hard work had nothing to do with success, right? Smart hard work does, but not just hard work. And I wanted more for them. I wanted to retire my parents. I didn't want my mom working 3 jobs and killing herself, coming home at 9 o'clock at night when I was 10 years old with her hands hurting because she painted houses, she cleaned houses, and she cut hair nonstop to make next to nothing. And if I think back about what was my first muse, it was my mom. I know we all got that first thought. And listen, you don't, I tell us everybody, you don't have to have a horrific childhood to want more. Some of us just, we're here, but we know there's another level for us. The biggest plight, Dale Carnegie said, the biggest plight of all people is knowing you have more potential and you're not using it. So your past doesn't have to be painful. Wherever your past is, though, we have it. We got to use it as our story. When I wanted to do more for my mom, the truth is I started cutting firewood in high school. And then after cutting firewood in high school, I went on to be a mechanic and working on cars every single day. And I got a collision shop. And then I started fixing used cars and selling them and making money that way. I had a tow truck. That's not my tow truck. Mine would look a little older, but my team pulled that up. I took that and I leveraged it into real estate. And I started doing really well. I started getting momentum with this drive of retiring my mom, taking care of my parents, being in control. I hated not being in control. I hated going to lunch in school and not having money. I hated that my mom had to work for whoever she could take jobs for, even if they were rude to her. So I had a burning desire. And I was on my way doing pretty good. And then something really big transformed my life. And that's this guy right here. I'm going to make fun of him, and I will for that picture. Tony doesn't look anything like that anymore. You could take that down. But something happened to me in my 20s that changed everything. I saw an infomercial of Tony Robbins. You guys remember that? If you're on here live here, put it in the chat if you remember Tony on infomercials so long ago. And I saw this infomercial, and I felt like he was speaking right to me. But what was for sale was information. It wasn't a product. It wasn't a magic pill. It was like he was just going to share. I didn't even know that. I'd be honest with you. By then, I didn't read a lot of books. I had dyslexia. But Tony felt like he was speaking to me. Did you ever listen to Tony? That guy's talking directly to me. And I hope you feel that when Tony and I share with you guys. But he was. And I bought everything he had off of his infomercial. Everything. I got personal power. I got the power talk. I got all the upsells. My family told me I was absolutely nuts. Everybody told me I was crazy. Are really going to listen to something, jump up and down and be rich? There you go, Dean. Good luck. And guess what? That information changed my life forever. I was never the same after that. I shifted the way I thought. I shifted the way I looked at life. I shifted the way I was grateful. I shifted the way I looked at overcoming obstacles. Everything that I dreamed could be real, I visualized it and saw it. Tony Robbins changed my life. And what did he sell me? What we're talking about today, he sold me information. He sold me knowledge, stuff that my family and friends said I was crazy. That's not how it works. You don't pay for knowledge. They were wrong. And back then, 25 years ago, this was crazy. Now it's the new norm. We all know it to be true. Back then, it was small little buckets. So I get Tony's information and I get fired up. I'm like, this is an industry? I mean, I was a broke kid. I lived in that dumpy trailer. I worked out of that barn, and now because of cars and real estate, I'm doing really well for myself. And now I can go to a whole nother level. I'm like, I want in. I want in the knowledge industry. But back then there wasn't social media and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. It was just infomercials. I always joke, and like horse and buggy, carrier pigeons, like there was no internet. Like it just didn't exist. So I said, the heck with it. I am going to build a course and I'm going to teach people how to make money with cars, because that's what I was doing. So I got so excited. I hope I excite you. And if you've been around Tony, like you get motivated. And I'm like, I'm going all in. So I set my alarm for 4 o'clock in the morning every single day. And I get up and I start creating a course, and I called it Motor Millions. This is the actual course. Could you guys pull that up? I wish I looked that way today, but those pictures were about 20 years ago. And I created a course called Motor Millions, teaching people how to make money with used cars. Now, you think that's a small niche? It is, right? You could take that down. I got so pumped up, and I get up, and I designed the logo, and I designed the graphics, and I have somebody print the books, and I get going, and I'm like stoked. And all of a sudden, I get it done. And anybody ever feel this way? Let me know in the chat. You ever feel this way? After that decision of being so excited, it kind of shifted. And all of a sudden, that self-doubt happened. And I started to say, who the hell's going to buy from you? You didn't go to college. You barely got out of high school. You have dyslexia. You don't have initials after your name. You didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars in the car business. You don't own multiple car dealerships. You're not a gajillionaire. Who the hell would listen to you? I'm not even a great teacher. Heck, if I have to read stuff, I can barely read. If anybody have ever watched me spell, it's embarrassing. And all of that started to come in. And I don't know if you know if you felt that way. But then I have to tell you, maybe it was the energy of my grandmother, who was just such a great inspiration in my life. And I was literally walking down the road by where my grandmother's house was, and I'm contemplating, like, am I going to do this? My sister, who I love dearly, wanting to be like the protective big sister. She's not the type to try to steal dreams. She wanted to protect her little brother. She drove all the way from Virginia to say, come on, Dean, look how amazing you've done from where we came from. We came from nothing. You have a tow truck company. You have a car dealer, used cars. You have apartments, and I've started building houses. He said, and you're going to try this? And the infomercial business wasn't like today. Today, you get started with $5 and the right skills because you can go online for free. Those days, it was a couple $100,000 to get on TV and produce an infomercial and do all that. So I was betting. I was going all in. And of course, you can imagine family and friends saying, stop, stop. What are you doing? Don't do it. You're crazy, right? But I took a walk down this road, and I remember exactly where I was at. And I had this epiphany. I love, my buddy Russell Brunson uses that word, and I love it. I had an epiphany. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm judging myself thinking I need to know everything. that I don't need to know all that. I am not amazing at opening new car dealerships. I don't know what it's like to make $100 million. I don't know. If I think about that, okay, of course I'm stressed. But what I did know how to do is go from a broke kid, and I learned how to match buyers and sellers of used cars, and I learned how to make money through that. And I said, I'm going to look for people that want to flip a couple cars a month and maybe make an extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. If they want to be billionaires, if they want to open new car dealerships, I'm not that. And then all of a sudden, my fear started to dissolve. My confidence started to go up because I'm like, can I teach someone how to flip a car or two a month? Hell yes. Are there people around the world that want to do that? Hell yes. I'm in. And all of a sudden, the excitement to being scared went back to excitement again. And then I had a big vision. Then I had this plan, and I filmed an infomercial. I'm not going to play a clip of it. That was me in my first infomercial. If you pull that up really quick, Mike. And I filmed this on the front yard of my house. That was my car at the time. That was my house at the time. Remember, I was the kid that went from that trailer park to this amazing place. You could pull that down. And I had the plan, right? This is it. I got the plan. I'm going. Film the show, I get it on air, I'm trying to figure it out, I get momentum, I start going back and forth from Arizona to New York. That's why I live in Arizona. There was a company out here that helped me, and I was going back and forth. I start getting momentum, I get on TV, I'm losing money, making money, losing money, making money, because it's not like today's world. I didn't have a blueprint, I didn't have Tony and Dean as a teacher. I'm just trying to figure this out and model Tony. And then all of a sudden, momentum, and then another conflict. People stopped watching infomercials after a while. Everything went to social media. I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? And I started to shift. And I started to realize that there was another level on social media, and it was completely different. And then I built, during this time, I built another course called Think a Little Different, which was how to make money in real estate. And now I'm transitioning from infomercials during another conflict, another carpet got pulled out from underneath me, and I shifted to social media, and I realized I could build a following for free. I could target the exact people that want what it is I'm sharing. Oh my God. And all of a sudden started getting more and more momentum. And the results were, I was blessed to become a multiple New York Times best-selling author, a kid who had dyslexia. I was able to touch lives and reach millions of people around the world, partner with incredible people, create course after course, impact people's lives, do the things I hope I'm helping you guys see today, all these incredible things, and then even come full circle. And the guy who got me in this without even realizing it, because I gave him money and he sold me information, Tony Robbins becomes my partner and dear friend. And now we're here teaching the world how to do what we do, to not feel like the person I felt, that I didn't have the initials or the confidence or the capabilities. I was wrong. I was one chapter ahead. I went through an experience. I had the knowledge. And I wanted to share it with people. And when I realized that, everything changed. And that's where we're here now. Like literally, if I think about it, the first 5 years, I discovered how not to do it, how to do it wrong. But between my 20-something years and Tony's 40-something years, we discovered the right way, the easy way. And listen, I got to share with you, if this is something you ever thought about doing before, I want to share something. I'd love to be an influencer. I'd love to make money online. I'd love to help other people, but you know, I don't know where to start, or it seems too confusing. It's okay. Give yourself a pass, right? There's so many things online telling you how to get rich overnight, how to write a book. Listen, I just got to share this. I love books. Books change my life. I'm a multiple New York Times best-selling author. What would I do without books? I listen to a book almost every day in my life. But if you're going to enter the knowledge industry, if you're going to share your knowledge, I suggest doing a book down the road, not at first, because the complexity could cause you to go backwards. Pull this screen up really quick. This is just basic numbers on doing a book. Mike, could you pull that slide up? When you do a book, hopefully they'll pull it up. When you do a book, it takes 6 to 12 months to write it. Opportunity cost is huge. You hire a writer, you help. If you hire a good writer, it could be way more. But I've had writers that were $100,000, and I've had writers that were $10,000. You have to hire an editor to clean it up. You have to have a book design and layout person. You got to hire a book cover designer. You have to find and print the first couple books and hope all those things. You might have 20,000 plus in it in 18 months before you even know if you got something. And again, I'm not gonna poo-poo on books because they've changed my life. I just don't think it's the quickest way to enter this knowledge industry. I love one-on-one coaching. One-on-one coaching has dramatically changed my life. And I believe everyone should coach and help. but you still are a part of the time and effort community, right? Like you work an hour, you get paid for an hour. It's like being a physical trainer or a personal trainer. You go to someone's house, you might get 150 bucks an hour. That'd be amazing, or 75 or 50 bucks, whatever you get for an hour, but there's only so many hours in a day. How do you monetize that? How do you make that exponentially grow? That's the part that we're talking about. And even being an influencer. Listen, I'm not talking about an influencer who just takes a picture of them with their Lambo and their fancy watch and looking all cool and get followers because they have the perfect picture. I'm talking about influencers like so many of my dear friends, the Trent Sheltons and the Brendan Burchards and Tony Robbins and so many incredible people, and Jamie Kern Lehman, all these, and Jenna Kutcher, all these people who are influencing in a positive way. But sometimes just being an influencer, you get followers, but it's hard to monetize. So what Tony and I want to show you and be a part of this shifting world, the world has completely changed, that your passion, your skill, your mess, your message, your experience is valuable, but you can share it quicker. You can share it through today's virtual world like Zoom, a weekend workshop, a mastermind, a course that you can film literally in less than 7 days when you have the blueprint, when you know how to extract it. That's what we're talking about today, the shift. And that's why we're going to talk about, and let's pull this screen up. We're going to talk about the 3 secrets to selling what you know. And that's what today's training is about. It's about the 3 secrets. Number 1 is why this, why now, why you? We're going to talk about the knowledge industry, why this is the perfect time. It's like a wave coming in. You either get in front of the wave or you kind of paddle too late and you miss it. This wave is coming in and this is your time. Number 2, this is the part that'll take away all the like, well, what, how, when, is knowing what to sell. What lives in here that you learn from other people or you've learned from your own experience? And number 3 is, the third one is knowing how to sell it, right? So if you figure, I know the knowledge industry is great. This is the perfect time. Okay, that's what I'm going to offer. Now, who am I going to sell it to, right? So the first one, how this industry works and why. First, I wanted to go to Think and Grow Rich. I love this. Napoleon Hill said there are 2 kinds of knowledge. One is general, the other is specialized. General knowledge, no matter how great in quantity or variety it may be, is of but little use in the accumulation of money. And you can take that down, Mike. I don't know if you've seen the buzz of what's going on online with all the different names they call it. Upskilling, right? Self-education, knowledge information, knowledge industry, information industry, like every name possible. Really what it means is people would rather learn from somebody who's already had the experience rather than going back to traditional and normal general education. Think about this. Did you know right now that people that go to college and get a degree, only 27% of the people who get a degree actually use it? And did you know that 52% of the people who get the degree and get the job, so out of the 27%, 52% of the 27% hate the job that they're in? Did you know that price of college, and you can pull this up, is increasing almost 8 times faster than wages? Think about that. So why did I bring that up? Just talking about, you can pull that down, Mike. I brought that up because if you're wondering where this wave is coming from, why are you having the chance to get in front of this big wave coming in, is because the world completely changed, right? Not only did COVID happen and shift the world to a more virtual, or people are home trying to figure out, they realize if I go to college for all that year, accumulate that debt, I'm not going to work in that industry anyway. That's why people like Ginny Romney of IBM says, I'm not hiring people that go to college anymore. I'm hiring people, new-collar people with self-education. YouTube, Google, Facebook are hiring people without education because they're looking for people who went down the self-education path. It's the new norm. If you want to learn how to do something, what do you do nowadays? What do my kids do? They go online and look for somebody who's already done it. Not for the initials, not for someone who's in the bright shining light, someone who's just already done it and is willing to share it. People want to learn from the professional doer, not the professional teacher. People also realize that they don't want to learn on their own. Trial and error in today's world is almost impossible. The world's moving too fast. So I want to go over to the whiteboard. Scott, could you come in and help me with the camera? I'm going to go over to the whiteboard, and I want to show you, do a little exercise real quick here that I think will simplify and let you understand the knowledge industry in just minutes. Now, excuse my fancy writing here. Okay, I prepared this earlier so it wouldn't be too sloppy. All right, here we go. Is there a little glare there? Let's see. Oh, there we go. We can make that better. Okay, so the knowledge industry. Let's just look at this, and you could zoom in here, Scott, so we could see this. This is life. Let's look at this journey you're on called life. And then all of a sudden, something happens in your life, right? There is an absolute mess. There's a divorce. There's an issue. There's a problem. Someone leaves you. Someone takes advantage of you. The world changed. COVID happens. And all of a sudden, there's a mess in your life that you have to deal with. And all of a sudden, you start this downward spiral of trying to figure things out. Or there's a learning opportunity, right? You started a new business. You started a new company. You started a new job. You got a new partner. You started a new diet. You started a new exercise routine. You started something, but you had to learn. And during that learning curve, it's time to figure it out. Or you had to take uncomfortable action. Something shifted. The world changed. We talked about Lisa before. She had a dance studio. COVID came. It was over. She had to take uncomfortable action and shift. She had to work with Tony and I, gain the capabilities, and go do it, right? But what happens when you do that? You start learning the capabilities, and if you push forward, all of a sudden you gain momentum. You start understanding, and it gets better. You get stronger and stronger, and then all of a sudden, where are you? You're on the other side, and life goes up. I got through the divorce. I figured out what was going wrong in life. I made sure my kids were safe. My son was born with eczema, like in our family. I'll talk about that later, and I figured out a way to cure it naturally. There's a natural progression. It's the learning curve, and sometimes, let's just be honest, when things go sideways, it's not that. It's like down here. Like you go to the depths of hell sometimes. But when you're on the other side, the knowledge industry is really, you are just a bridge provider. What does that mean? Because you were here. You went through this. Right now, there's a whole bunch of people looking over the edge going, God darn it, how do I get into sales? How do I do this network marketing? How do I fix my relationship? How do I make sure my kids are okay during this divorce? How do I eat better? How do I feel like the woman I'm supposed to be again? How do I find more joy? How do I get happiness? How do I get this personal development? How do I do all these things? They're here. And they either go through here or you provide them a bridge. This is your experience. This is your experience. That's what the knowledge industry is. You are extracting what you know and say, don't do this. Don't do that. Let's do this. This is what you focus on. This is how you do it. And that's why the world is going nuts over this, because they're not looking for the initials. They're not looking for you to be anointed, not looking for you to have all those pieces. They're looking for you to have the experience and be willing to share it. I love this because this is how you take a mess and you come up with a solution. This is how you take learning and it becomes a skill. This is how you take uncomfortable action into mastery. And whether that's learning how to get a greater job when you don't speak English or be a mid-level manager, you have that knowledge and other people want it. Okay, so when it comes to that, think about this. Think about Mindy. Go to this slide real quick. Mindy was frustrated in a job and knew that she wanted more out of life, right? So she was in one side of the world, like very corporate America, and flipped it completely. If Mindy's watching today, she's so awesome. She's in New York City, and she decided she wanted to teach photography, and she wanted to do it in a really creative way, like intuition photography, if I remember this right. And she'd take people around New York City and take pictures, and she started getting momentum, and she started doing well, and then COVID happened. And then she's like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm about taking pictures outside, right? And she said, I'm going to build a course. Maybe I'll go online. And every one of her friends said, oh, there's a lot of courses online. That's not you. Yours is personal touch. And she got in that doubt. Same place I was when I was thinking about Motor Millions. Thank God she had an epiphany. Thank God she started working with Tony and I. And now she's shifted. She's absolutely crushing it. She's doing it virtual. And here's what happened. Now she's teaching her photography courses, and she has clients from all over the world. She doesn't have to just grab people in her backyard anymore. She's home, impacting lives, creating success for her and her family. This is the opportunity. There's so many different niches, so many different things. And I know when it's something new, something different, it's like, oh, but can I do this? And there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that do everything. But when you don't have a guide, when you have somebody like Tony and I with 60 years experience, we know how to navigate and guide you through this journey. So bring this slide up. Number one, you said why this and why now? That's what we just shared. So knowledge industry is exploding, and the knowledge industry needs you, and it's the perfect time. The next thing is knowing what to sell. That's the big question, right? What to sell. Think about this. You have that commodity, that asset locked inside of you, whether that is a skill that you've learned, an experience you've had, a mess you went through, or you're kind of the broker of other people's knowledge, right? There's so many people that share other people's knowledge or things they learned. You're either the reporter, let's call it the reporter, or the delivery of the skill, right? But just with the people Tony and I have worked with, we've identified over 4,600 different niches. Everything you could possibly imagine. Painting with wolves, dancing, like everything possible you could imagine. From firewood cutting to hair cutting to everything possible. And it's amazing. And this is really amazing for people who want to share their experience. Are already in the business, looking to scale. You can take that down, Mike. It's also for influencers who want to learn how to monetize, or coaches or consultants that want to exponentially grow. I shared that before. And we have a platform, and we'll talk about this later, because you guys literally have a chance to get access to it for free today. But I wanted to show you regular people, everyday people, doing extraordinary things. So pull that slide up, Mike. I'm going to go through these rapid fast, because I just want you to see the different experience. This amazing woman teaches people how to brand, book, and build a course. She'll help you do it. This group teaches you how to start filming yourself, doing better from home, whether that's with a regular camera or a phone. This is a chairman of the board shorts. I had the chance to meet him through Zoom. He's doing absolutely incredible, teaching people how to have financial freedom in a way that he did it from home. How about a 6-week low-carb nutrition support with Dr. Keenan? How about launch an app? How'd you like to launch an app? Complete guide to launching a profitable mobile app and branding your business. How about songwriting mastery? 8 weeks. The smaller the niche, actually the better. We're going to talk about that in a minute. How about master your anxiety and stress? Find peace and calm, right? Divorce, 7 principles to make sure your children are thriving. That's a course I literally would have bought, and I've obsessed over that myself. I love this. I'm going to be looking at that course as soon as we're done here. If you think about that, and the smaller the niche, the better. 6 months of coaching for young widows and widowers. You think that's a small group, but it's not when you get to access the world, right? Think about that. When you have the opportunity to access the world, the smaller the niche, the better. And here's the cool part. Everyone I just shared with you are currently selling courses online on a platform when most of them never thought they could do this. Like, I went through losing someone in my life. I went through a divorce. That's a mess. Oh my God, remember the drawing on the whiteboard. Someone else is going through that mess right now. Someone else is feeling that same pain. I can relieve that pain. I can impact their lives. And I can create success for myself in one of the fastest growing industries in the world. That's what we're talking about today. I want to take it even a little deeper here and pull up this slide. Now, take a look at this. This is Jamie Falahi. Now, why this is personal to me is because Jamie is someone who went through a mess. Jamie's son was born with eczema. And if anybody knows eczema, it's brutal. I have 2 children with eczema. But she didn't know that. She went through a mess, and she didn't know she had anything to share. She wanted to be in this industry. She's like, but what am I going to share? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Most people think I don't have anything. Not true. She went through a mess, but she didn't like her son being on steroids. She didn't like him up all night itching. She didn't like all the byproducts of eczema. I know it personally. It's horrible. There's way worse ailments, so please know that. But watching your son itch himself all night and have to put gloves on and put restraints on so he doesn't rip his face up, I watched that with both my boys. Well, Jamie finally gets the nerve and says, okay, in my kitchen, I'm going to film how I figured out how to because in her obsession to help her son, she found a way to get him off steroids, to heal it naturally, to heal her gut, his gut, all these incredible things. And finally, she got the nerve. She goes, all right, in my kitchen, she films a course. Unbeknown to her, that course got posted online. My wife, pull up this next slide. My wife bought that course. My son's eczema was horrible. She went through it. Now, my wife is obsessing on a lot of things. But what she learned from Jamie's course made a huge impact. You could pull that down. Made a huge impact on my son. Now, why am I sharing that? Because this is when it's time for you to really understand. I want you to hear this right now. If you're still with me right now, you are called to serve. You're called to do something more, and maybe you don't even realize it, but you're here. You're listening. Jamie was called to serve, and she barely realized that. She almost let that voice, the one that almost stopped me, tell her, you're not the expert, you don't have initials, you're not a doctor. No, she has experience. She has a son with eczema, obsessed on it, as every mother and father would do, and she found a way to cure him after years and years of research. My wife didn't have to do those years of research. She had to buy Jamie's course. This is when selling, I want you to write this down, put it in the chat. This is when selling becomes service. She shared what she learned. And my wife didn't have to go through that Sire Valley. And I say my wife, this is our family, this is our boy. But my wife is just obsessed over it. And this is filling my wife's soul and helping my little boy. Simultaneously, Jamie is getting to make impact, like on my family, and help others. And that's what I want to call you to think about today. Where are you holding back knowledge? Where do you have this asset, this commodity that you've experienced or you've learned from other people? I'll share in a moment how you could learn from other people, but where do you have this? And now it's time to break that barrier, break that bond, and share that with the world. Let me go back to the whiteboard. Scott, could you jump out here real quick? I want to show you something that I think will really give you a different context on how this works. Let's go. So here's my fancy drawing. I did this in advance, all for you. When you think about selling, I've been doing this long enough. I've been helping people. Remember this. Now we're over to this one. When you think about offering what you know, you start thinking like I did. And when I started thinking, oh, but I don't make billions and hundreds of millions in cars. I don't have new car dealerships. I started thinking about everybody. I started to think I have to be something good for somebody I don't. The epiphany was I just have to be really good at one little piece. So what do I mean by that? When we think about offering our knowledge or what we learn from other people, I think we kind of think about the 7 billion people and we're like, it's too much. But what if we take Jamie for an example? Jamie wasn't looking for 7 billion people in the world. She just wanted to target parents. So it got smaller. It's like, okay, I'm only going after parents. No, she was only over parents with kind of newborns or under 2 years old. Okay, that's a little smaller. Okay, she was only going after parents of 2-year-old or under who had eczema. Oh, that gets even smaller. Oh, but she wasn't going after just parents. She wasn't going after everybody or just parents with young ones or parents with eczema. She wanted to go after parents with young ones who wanted to cure eczema naturally. All of a sudden, it's a tiny little dot. But that tiny little dot in today's world, when we have access to everyone, instead of social media using you, and we can use it to find our ideal clients, and that's who I'm going to talk about here in the next section, that still could be potentially millions of people that we have access to that Tony and I didn't when we were in the infomercial business. Now we do. And when you identify that, then people like my wife find Jamie. Right? Because when you know this, it's when you reverse engineer and say the only people I'm looking for in this world are parents of young kids with eczema that want to heal naturally. And once you have that course, that training, the weekend workshop that you're going to do that you could do through Zoom and the platforms we're going to talk about here in a moment, or the course you want to film in your kitchen like Jamie did when we show you the blueprint on how to film it. Once you do that, then you just drive those parents to that one little piece. And guess what this does? It also gives you confidence. I knew I could teach people how to flip 1 or 2 cars a month. Confidence is through the roof. Jamie knows that she can help parents naturally heal. She's not going to pretend to be a doctor. She doesn't know how to cure any other disease. But that is her thing. And as a badass mom who went through the experience, she's killing it. And I appreciate her. So what do you have that the world needs, right? That's the part. And then the second thing I want to share is sometimes our knowledge is the ability to bring people together. If you could pull that slide up real quick, Mike. Look at Fernando. Fernando was an event planner. The world shifted, not sure what to do. He collectively just put a group as a kind of the reporter. He got chefs together and did an event with multiple different chefs. He wasn't the chef. He put the chefs together. And he became the reporter of other people's knowledge, put chefs together, and had an absolutely amazing event. He killed it using Facebook and Google and Instagram to drive people. All right, so here's where we're at. You know why I love this industry, and you know why it's changed my life. I think you know that this industry is exponentially growing, why it's fueling, and why, by solving that problem, the gap, you could be the bridge builder. Secondly, I hope you see that we're going to show you is if the more you narrow it down, the more your confidence goes up and you go, oh yeah, I am good at that. The next part, and this is the last part, is how do you sell what you know? Because if I was you, this is what I'd be thinking right now. I'd be thinking, if you can pull that up, I'd be thinking the same thing I thought when I took that walk by my grandmother's house is, who would buy from me, right? Mike, could you pull that slide up? Who would buy from me? I don't have followers. Where do I find them? How do I get what I want to learn from it? Like, how do I even teach them? Like, all these things. And this is what I want to share with you. I love this story of Del Jane. I got the chance to meet her. Now, Del Jane was in a transformation business consultant. And I bet you she was really good at it. She was a business consultant. But here, I'm going to tell you a little secret about Del Jane. She did that for a living. But she was absolutely obsessed on everything very spiritual. She called it foo-foo. She's like, I know it's very foo-foo stuff, from meditation and yoga and therapy and everything Zen. And I don't even know if I explain it right, but she secretly used to go to workshops and masterminds and read books on it. And she obsessed over it for 20 years. So she was this business consultant, forward-facing, but behind the scenes, she was a study of all things in this spiritual realm for peace and alignment. And you love talking to her, you could feel it. Her energy is so beautiful. So she decides, I'm going to share. I'm going to be in this knowledge industry, but I'm not going to teach my business consulting. I want to teach the thing that I'm passionate about, the thing that really lights me up. So she decides to put together a weekend workshop. She's going to do it on Zoom through our platform here. I'll share with you in a little bit how you can do that for free. But she decides, I'm going to do it. And what she did is, in today's world where we're connected to everybody, she went back and literally went to all the people she was in these classes with. All these different classes, she saw them in Facebook groups and had some text messages and knew some of them on Facebook. And literally she went into Facebook, said, I'm going to do a weekend workshop. I don't know what she named it, but on this topic that people in that niche would know. It's not my niche, so I don't know it. And she said she was so nervous and so scared. She types it up and said, I'm doing this workshop. She does the price. And she said she hits send. And she's so embarrassed that she sent it to like 30 or 40 friends that she slammed her laptop and ran out of the house. Literally, she's like, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I did this. She said she slammed the laptop and ran out of the house. And she said, she finally came back and she said, oh my God, I hope they didn't make fun of me. I shouldn't have sent it. She opened it up. She saw the first message and the second message and the third message. Del Jane sold out her first weekend workshop online. She absolutely killed it. And guess what? It wasn't even, I know, I see Carl and Jen and everybody clapping for her. Sold it out, absolutely crushed it. And then she realized, oh my God, she didn't have it even completely laid out yet. So then she went to work and used our strategies to extract what you know and how to tell the story and teach it and make it a process. She loved the journey. She served these women that were in her group, knocked it out of the park, and then sold out her second one. This is someone who had something that made a living. Del Jane had something that made her a living, but it wasn't serving her heart. And now all of a sudden, she's serving her heart. She's serving her soul. She's impacting all these incredible women. And she created more success in this couple of months than you could ever imagine possible. Like, killed it. Now, I'm not saying you're going to send one email and be rich overnight. That's not what I'm saying. And if that's what you think, that's not the case. What the case is, though, this is a thriving industry. You have something like Del Jane, whether it's the thing you've done or the thing you're passionate about. She doesn't have the initials. She didn't go to school on how to do it. She just went. She had this knowledge. And the testimonials, she got her off the charts. That's the kind of pieces, that's the kind of impact I want you to see. See, social media has used us for too long. It's time to use it. You can be the consumer of social media, or you could be the producer on social media. I want you to think about that, right? So think about this. I want to back up here for a second. Pull up the screen, Mike. When Tony and I started, I want you to think how the world has changed. Infomercials were expensive. There was no other choice. People said, why did you and Tony do infomercials? Because there was no social media, no Facebook, no Instagram, no YouTube, no TikTok, nothing. There was infomercials, right? We couldn't target specific audiences. You guys can go to Facebook groups that have exactly the people that you could serve, right? Those days are over of just casting a wide net, right? You can see what worked and what didn't immediately. You don't have to be perfect on camera. All of these things have changed. Technology can be scary, but technology, when it's made simple, is the asset and the reason why you can extract what your commodity, your asset, and share it with the world. Package it and help people like Del Jane. Because at the end of the day, like I said, when you have platforms like the one I'm going to share with you at Mastermind and all the other pieces to get your voice out there, you become the producer of content. You can become the producer, not the consumer of social media, and let it fuel you. I want to go through this really quick. Think about this. I'm only going to go through 4 of these right now. Think about if you create that weekend workshop like Del Jane, or you create the course on how to naturally cure eczema in your kitchen like Jamie did, right? Or you create the training on how to get foreigners to get really good jobs because you went through that experience. Or you used to have a dance studio and COVID shut it down and you want to go virtual, right? There's so many ways to drive traffic, drive eyeballs of the ideal client. I want to go through a couple of them really quick, and I want you to think about this. First one is direct messaging. Pull up these slides, Mike, right? So you have your offer and you have direct messaging. What is that? That is what Jill did. Jill, COVID hit. She stopped. She was in real estate. COVID hit, world changed. She becomes a homeschooling mom and is at home every day. She doesn't know what to do. She's just being a mom. Not that I shouldn't say just being a mom. I could never handle it. You moms are amazing, right? But she had that desire, like all you badass moms out there, for another thing too. So she starts working with Tony and I, and she goes, all right, I'm going to start training from home. She starts teaching people how to get in their first investment property and killing it. She's doing better teaching it now than she was when the world was open, and she still gets to be a mom. And you know how she filled it? All through direct messaging. She went out and just DM'd everyone she thought could potentially want to be a part of it. DM'd, direct messaging, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, that's what they call DM. Next is her current networks. Current networks. There are people right now in your current network that need what it is you have or want what you have. Look at Laura. I love Laura's story. Laura worked for a nonprofit. She said it was serving the world, doing good things, but it didn't serve her. And she wanted to do something where she helped people have more joy and positivity in the world. And she went all in, and she used Facebook and groups and her existing networks, organic, all for free. And she literally got 134 people in her group. She sold out her first training. And again, I'm not saying you're going to do this. She did so well that she quit her job. And she said such amazing comments. I got a whole page here on how KBB changed her life and being a part of this community and what Tony and I taught her and how to go to another level. And now she feels like an entrepreneur. She's living into her full potential. She's impacting lives. She's bringing joy. She's living into her heart. And she's doing it all home virtually. The next is social media. Now, social media could be a lot of different things. But we are connected to people all over. Rather than it using us, we can use it. Take Marla, for example. Bring this up, Mike. Marla used her existing networks online to gain her first 100 raving fans. She had 15 at her first virtual mastermind, taught people how to identify goals and move forward using 2 tools she received from me. Cool. I'm glad she got that, Marla. And what she did is a Facebook challenge, how to lose weight without dieting forever. This is the opportunity you have. She just reached out through social media, the networks that are already there for free, found the people that wanted it, identified her little niche like we talked about before, and got people, and she's crushing it. And last is Facebook groups. Think about how many Facebook groups there are out there right now that are, when you go to look for them, that are all people talking about the thing that you know how to solve. You can enter those groups and drive people to your offer. That's just 4 of so many limitless possibilities that you have in today's new world. This is not the same as it used to be. The world has completely changed. And you have the opportunity to be a part of this. So bring this slide up. So this is what we talked about today, the 3 secrets to selling what you know, right? Why this, why now, why you? I don't think there could be a better time in history. This crazy shifting world has actually fueled what we are doing, right? It's exponentially growing this incredible industry. We talked about why colleges don't work anymore, why learning on your own doesn't, and people are looking for you. We talked about the valley people are going through. You get to bridge that gap for people. You're really just a bridge builder, right? Then we talked about knowing what to sell. And we talked about 7 billion people, scary, but we start narrowing it down. And the smaller the niche, the more our confidence goes up, the more we see we can share this. And that small niche is actually potentially hundreds of thousands, millions of people. And then last, selling what you know. It's completely different than when Tony and I had to spend a couple $100,000 to see if an infomercial worked. He probably spent more because he had all big actors and talent, and then you got to buy media. Those days are over. We have the opportunity to use social media. And this last slide, I love trying to kind of like summing it up here, right? In this last slide, pull this up, Mike. This last slide, think about this. If you look at the double triangle, I used to call this, right? Is you either have a skill, an expertise, knowledge that you've learned through the years, or you had a mess. Jamie went through a divorce and you came out on the other side and your kids are thriving. Like you went through something, you went through an experience. Or you're the reporter of other people's knowledge. Like Jamie was a reporter. She reported on other people on how she figured out how to cure her son's eczema. Or Raphael, when he did a training on with chefs, that it was other chefs, right? So you're the reporter, the mess to message, or your skill. And then you virtually share, or you could even do in person when the world opens up, and you create a course. You do a mastermind, you do a workshop, all virtual, online, from home. You don't have to write the book. You don't have to spend all the time doing it. You literally could be live in 7 to 10 days from right now, and that's how you become a part of the knowledge industry. Listen, this is one of the most exciting times, I believe, to be alive if you're someone that wants to make an impact. And I know in a crazy, uncertain, changing world, shifting can be hard. And maybe you've tried stuff in the past. I want you to forgive yourself. I want you to give yourself permission to let that go. Maybe it wasn't the right time for you. Maybe it wasn't the right time in history. Maybe you didn't have the right teacher. Maybe it didn't align with your soul. Maybe it could have made you money, but it didn't really serve a higher purpose of what you want out of life. There's a million reasons your past didn't work out, but if we go to my dear friend Tony Robbins saying that life happens for us, not to us, that's one of the biggest, that literally shifted my life. If you think about life happens for you, not to you, then maybe all those things that didn't work are why you're here right now, ready to do something bigger, ready to impact lives. And here's what I know. If you'd love the opportunity to be a part of this shifting, emerging industry, to have the capabilities, to have a guide, to learn from people who've been doing it for 60 years. If you want to be in this industry, start something new, scale what you already have, monetize what you're already doing on another level, I know you're going to need help. I know you're going to need a teacher. I know you're going to need guidance. And Tony and I would love it to be us. We just spent the last couple years perfecting a training that we call the Knowledge Broker Blueprint. Knowledge broker. What's a knowledge broker? Someone who shares their knowledge or someone else's to impact other people's lives and create success. And today, I'm so happy that you're here in this time in history because we're going to share something. I want to share something with you, and we'll have Tony here in a little bit, but I want to share with you the opportunity for you to get enrolled in the Knowledge Broker Blueprint and work with Tony and I and join this incredible family with over 4,700 different niches around the world, over 120 different countries of people serving at the highest level possible by sharing their commodity, sharing their knowledge, their skill, their capability, their passion, the experience they went through. Mike, could you pull these slides up? And I want to offer you today the brand new updated Knowledge Broker Blueprint. Mike, go ahead, pull that slide up. And where does it start? Before we get started, I want you to share. Know this, with anything in life, remember this, anything in life, you need 4 things. You need the right mindset, you need the strategies and tactics, you need to immerse yourself, and then you have to implement. If you leave out any one of those, it doesn't happen. You can have the right mindset, no strategies, you're just happy. Have the right mindset, no tactics, where do you start? If you don't immerse yourself, you're dabbling. And if you don't implement, it's just a dream, right? So that's why we go right into module number 1. Go ahead, pull these up, Mike. Module number 1, we call Set It. Now, I'll be honest with you, this entire module is mostly Tony Robbins. This is him anchoring a foundation for success to make you unstoppable, but to have the 5 keys to progress and avoid failures. Get over feeling like an imposter. Make sure you don't stop at that moment when you go, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I have a skill. That moment before I took the walking down the street by my grandmother's house, I was an inch away from not doing this. I wouldn't be a New York Times bestselling author. I wouldn't have started 13 companies. I wouldn't be living the life, partner with Tony, meet Richard Branson, do all this cool stuff. That all sounds great now, but I was also the kid that worked in that garage that was broke, was walking down that street saying, should I do this? This is crazy. Am I just a dreamer? And my amazing sister telling me, stop being a dreamer. My parents telling me, stop. I love them, but they were wrong. How do you overcome that? How do you focus on where you want to go? Is there any better person in the world than Tony Robbins? There isn't. He is the best. This is the section of the course people lose their mind. So section 1 is set it, and that's anchoring in a foundation for success. Module 2 is extract it. Now think about that. We talked about how you have this asset, this commodity. We want to show you how to unleash it. We call it superpower. It might be a cheesy name, but it really is. I have a superpower to help people with cars, a superpower to help people with real estate, a superpower to teach you how to be in the knowledge industry. I'm not really good at editing books and a million other things. I kind of suck at a lot of things, but I have a superpower in a few things. And when you identify that, and it's so magical, your confidence goes through the roof. And then to learn how to share it, and then how to identify the ideal client that wants it. And then you learn our Story Teach tool model that'll give you a framework that you'll never be worried about sharing it ever again. And then the part that most people in the world, those of you that are in KBB, if you're in the chat, the tools. We give you tools that you can use with your future clients, but it's tools you're going to want to go through, and you will. These tools alone will change your life. This is the section people lose their mind over this. So by the time you're done with this, you've already got the mindset. I'm unstoppable. I'm not an imposter. I'm going for it. And then you start gaining the tools, the tactics, the strategies, and more importantly, the confidence. And once you have that, then what's left? The next thing is how to market, right? Bring up that slide, Mike. The next thing is, how do you market this? How do you do what I just shared? How do you create what I call the wagon wheel? I'm going to pull this up and then go back. How do you use YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and email and networks and people and messaging? How do you do that? We show you. And not only do I teach you what I've learned over 20 plus years doing this, and Tony over 40 plus years doing this, we also take my team members who are doing this at the highest level possible, and they teach the secrets on how to get followers for free, how to maximize online, how to use social media rather than it using you. But I also teach you how to communicate in a way where you'll never feel like selling again. You'll know that what you're doing is serving others. Like Jamie served my family. Like Lisa is serving people. Like everybody I shared today are serving people at the highest level. And for that, they're creating success for them and their family. They're not out there just selling stuff. They're impacting lives. That's what this module does. When you're done with this module, you will love the ability that you have to market and sell people, because you get to impact their life and create success for you. This module changes people's lives, and I can't wait for you to be a part of it. So just think, by the time you're done, you have the mind of this module, you have the mindset, you have the tools and the tactics, extract what you know you're going to know what you're going to teach, and then you're going to know how to use social media to sell this and deliver it in a virtual way. And then the last piece is, how do you run it, right? This entire section is completely updated because of our virtual world. How do you deliver this with stress-free management? How do you do it through Zoom and Facebook? How do you do some of the things we're doing right here today? How cool is it right now? We have over 100 countries with us today, right now. And you get the opportunity to impact people around the world from your living room. How do you do that? This entire section tells you how to do your trainings, build your course, do a weekend Zoom, a weekend mastermind, a weekend workshop, however you want to deliver it with pure confidence. That's the entire 4 modules that will blow your mind. This is what started the movement. This is where there's over 38,000 people strong, a community of people taking uncomfortable, imperfect action, progress, every single day, and changing the world. I've never seen anything like it. The success, everyone you saw today is having incredible success. Again, I'm not saying you'll get this course and be rich overnight, but that's not even a blip. When you get enrolled and you become a part of the community, you're going to be blown away at regular people doing extraordinary things every day during COVID, because of COVID, because of the shift. Take Lisa, who I had on before. She said KBB allowed her to pivot her business and thrive. We talked about, before we talked to Laura, when I signed up for KBB, I knew there was something bigger. I didn't want to live small anymore. I learned I didn't have to settle for less than an exciting job posted online. I could be my own. I could be on my own. Laura is absolutely destroying it. She's impacting lives, helping people with joy. And when we decided to price this course, I want you to think about this. Tony has Platinum Partnership, which is amazing. If you're a Plat, oh my God, what an incredible family. It's almost $100,000, and he's got a waiting list for people to get in. Tony gets $1 million a person to consult personally. Like, unbelievable what the wisdom this guy's gathered, and he deserves it. He's dedicated his life to people for over 40 years. He is on this earth to serve others. I'm blessed that I get up to $200,000 for 90 minutes on stage. I mean, who would have thought that kid that lived in that trailer park, that lived in that house when there was only electric heater, has that opportunity? So when we thought about pricing this course, I believe 60 years worth of wisdom that can help you avoid the complexity, to have the roadmap to what's working, avoid what doesn't, to understand and having what we said, the mindset to overcome anything, from Tony Robbins, the best in the world, to have the ability to extract what you know and teach it with confidence, to identify who wants it, and then be able to market to them and run it virtually from home. I think if we charged $20,000 for this course, it would be a steal. I think $10,000 would be amazing. So we thought of putting a price tag of $5,000 on it, but we're not. That's not what you're paying. But I think $5,000 would be an absolute steal if you think about our time. So now, if we talk about our 4 pieces, right? We said we needed the mindset, right? We needed the tools, the strategies, the tactics. And the next was the immersion. And here's something we've never done before. Right now, you can pull the screen up. Right now, as a part of this course, I'm including the immersion part, a ticket to our World Summit. The last World Summit we had amazing people like Trent Shelton and Jenna Kutcher and Jamie Kern-Lima and Pete Vargas and Brendan Bouchard and other incredible guests. It was off the charts amazing, and it sold out. We had 8,000 people. That's what we said. We're going to stop at 8,000. This year we're going to go a little bigger, but it'll sell out again. But that's the immersion. That course, anybody was there, put it in the chat, because people lost their mind for this event, and we sell that ticket. This is not something we literally stopped selling because we sold out last year. But we wanted you to have this ticket as a part of this, so you have the immersion, so you stay engaged, so you're around like-minded people, so you don't give up on you. The only thing that can stop you from going to that next level is the belief of thinking you might not be able to. When you're in a group like this, nothing changes. In fact, we have like a 60-second clip. I just want to show you really quick. Mike, play that clip of the World Summit, because you're going to get a ticket.
A 3-day, 40-hour full immersion event with 2 of the greatest success coaches to ever walk this planet, and that's Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi.
Welcome to the World Summit. You guys ready for a great 3 days? I'm sitting here with 8,000 of you amazing people. If you're here, you're ready for more. And I want to thank you from my heart.
You're committing a weekend of your life to improve yourself and to look at how you can be in business or take your business to the next level.
Good for you, but I don't have a superpower. I am going to give you 3 different ways for you to uncover and discover your superpower.
I was like, do you understand what I went through to learn these things for you? Like, if you understood what I went through.
Listen, please don't experience death knowing you settle for less.
You should be hyper-focused on your audience. Whether you have an audience of 1 person across the table from you, 1 person on the telephone, 10 people on a Zoom call, or 100 people in a room. Pay attention to your audience.
Open your mind to say, I'm not settling for who I am today. There is another level. Who's got another level in them?
You're all wanting to make something perfect before you begin. You want to make sure it's the perfect completed process. If I did that, I'd never be here.
It might feel a little uncomfortable because it's getting real. It is time to launch. It is time to enter. It is time to scale.
I literally felt like I was sitting next to people in my living room.
Thanks so much for having this event.
You guys just did an amazing job. It was a wonderful event, and I'm so grateful that I was able to attend.
I'm so grateful that I made that investment in me, because that investment is going to help change the world.
All right, I just love that. The energy of that event was off the charts. I had to throw that video in because we've never done this before. And not only a regular ticket, I want to include today our VIP ticket that comes with so many incredible things. Literally, this was sold out last year. It's a $695 value, and that ticket is yours as part of what we're creating. This is a special opportunity today. You're not going to see this any other place online. So stick with me here, because I'm not even done. So right now, pull up that slide. You get the Knowledge Broker Blueprint that I think at $5,000 would be an absolute steal. You get a World Summit VIP ticket. So now you have the mindset, the strategy, the tools and tactics from Tony and myself, and you have the event immersion that's going to lock it in. I know if you look in the chats right now, anybody who was at that event, did that lock in the immersion to shift your life? It was amazing. And we didn't want to stop there. The next piece, and this is the game changer. Tony and I obsessed over the last 2 years to give you the directory, the place where you could launch your course. And we took the feedback. We know what people need, because what did we say? We need the mindset. Nobody better than Tony. Tools, tactics, strategies. I got it. Immersion, the event. I'm going to spend 3 days with Tony, Dean, and all these incredible people. But without implementation, I want you to hear me. Without implementation, it's just a dream. Without taking that uncomfortable action to put it out there, it's just a good thought. This will be another one of those things. I mean, if you're honest right now, who's bought a course before, you were excited, but you didn't do anything with it? That is not acceptable to Tony and I. That's why we obsessed and we built your immersion tool. All the people you saw earlier were on a platform we created at Mastermind. And what it does allows you to extract what you hear and get it up in moments, literally moments. You could have your course. You could do a live training inside the software, inside the platform. And when you're done doing live, you can pull that slide up, Mike. When you're done doing it live, you hit a button, it becomes your course. You could upload videos you already have. You could schedule a live. But what we did is, maybe because I'm over 50 and Tony's, he doesn't like saying it, but he's over 60, he's got 10 years on me, we don't like complexity. There's a lot of confusing software. How many softwares do you have on your phone that you don't even use? The hell with that. We wanted to create your implementation tool to maximize. So once you have the mindset, once you extract it, once you know who you're going after, once you understand the marketing, you have a place to get it up and get it to the world. You see, the difference is not only we create this platform for implementation, we give you the tools, the strategies, and the tactics to make it real. And on the other side, we have a worldwide directory where Tony and I spend marketing dollars every single month pushing eyeballs to find your course. Now, we don't want you to rely on us. It's not just a set it and forget it. We teach you the marketing so you can use all the different pieces of the wagon wheel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. But how cool is it now you also have access to this platform? You know, all the people I rambled off that all have sold courses, they're all on the Mastermind platform. And here's what we've done. Pull this up, Mike. You are going to get 6 months access. 6 months access to the software that helped her do 14 sales. She did 2 sales in the first 2 days. Brian Cho, what an awesome dude. And just so you know, the first girl teaches people how to be better on Etsy. Second amazing lady teaches people how to do self-defense, like I wouldn't fight her. Brian Cho teaches people how to do masterminds, right? He's been trying for 15 years. He put it up on the software and got his first sale day 1. She got 11 sales. Now, again, I'm not saying you just put it up and you're rich and you don't have to do anything. But I love the fact that we completed the whole process for you, so you're not missing that component. You have the mindset, the strategies, the tools, the tactics. You have the immersion at the event, and now you have your implementation tool. We're going to give you 6 months of that software absolutely free. It's a $282 value. We're already at $5,900. You're going to freak out today what we've done as an opportunity for you guys. So many of you have been with me. You're part of my family. You've watched our trainings. And we're in a crazy time in the world, and we wanted to do something pretty crazy. Next, bring this slide up, Mike. Next, we're doing something to make sure you graduate, to make sure you carry this across the finish line. We are doing a 6-week training. So you get enrolled in the course today, and a little bit you can get enrolled. And then all of a sudden, every week for 6 weeks, we'll be going through all 6 sections of the course, walk you through, hopefully answer all the questions you have. So this is not just a course you take. This is a course you graduate, you implement, and you use. And again, bring that slide up. You get to join the movement and be part of the KBB graduate program, which Tony and I are so proud. We've never had anything in our life where so many people from all around the world are graduating. I have to be honest. The women are kicking the men's butts. About 62% of the people in KBB are women, and they're absolutely crushing it. So men, we got to step it up. It's amazing what's going on, and this is because we know you need it. I don't want this to be a course that you have, and they call it a shelf education. You just buy it, and you think that'll, by osmosis, it'll work. No, we need to get you to take uncomfortable action and jump in it. We did not put a price on this. You can pull this up, Mike. We did not put a price on this because we never sold that, but it's absolutely priceless. If we put a couple $1,000s on there, I think it would be absolutely worth it. But we're not going to put a price on something we didn't sell at that. Here's the next bonus that'll blow your mind. Again, pull that up, Mike. This is the Traffic and Scaling mini-series bundle. Now, we've been doing this for 60 years combined, but we have people a part of our KBB family for over 2 years now, and we know the feedback. When people say, I want to build a stronger community, I want to eventually do a podcast, I want to speak on stages someday, I want to get my first crazy 100 raving fans. So what did Tony and I do? We went out and found the best in the world and asked them to create mini courses for you. Stu McLaren, nobody better at building community, building a group of followers, building your tribe. Stu gets $35,000 a day to consult. That's true. That's a fact, or I couldn't say it. He built a mini course for you on how to build your community. John Lee Dumas, he's like the original gangster. He's been on podcasts since they came out. He gets $10,000 a day to consult. He built a mini course on how to scale or start your podcast. Pete Vargas, he's got a company called Stage to Scale. Amazing company teaching people how to get on stage, how to present, and how to do incredible things by inspiring people. And that's virtual stages in today's world. He gets $40,000 a day. He built a mini course. And Rachel Miller, I absolutely love her. She'll teach you how to get your first raving fans. Like literally your Facebook group loving what you have to give the world, not what someone else does. This is worth the price of the entire course. Legit, people go nuts over this. We're throwing that in as a bonus today. You can pull up the slide, Mike. And again, if we put $3,000, $5,000 on this, we could put any price, but we've never sold it before, and it's not available any other place, but you get it today as a part of this course. Guys, we are so excited to present our newly updated KBB course to you guys. Pull up the slides, Mike. And you can get the entire course today for just one payment of $1,997. That is the Knowledge Broker Blueprint, the World Summit Ticket, VIP, Mastermind Implementation Package for 6 months, the 7-week walkthrough, and the mini course bundle. But we did something even cooler. Most all of you watching right now, so hold on one second, most all of you watching are a part of our Accelerated Success Formula course. So we want to do something we've never done before. So for those of you in a moment here who go to the URL I'm going to put up here in a moment, if you get enrolled today, we're going to take off that $297. And if you're here and you don't have ASF, then you're a part of joining the team. Congratulations. So pull the slide up. Right now, if you go to getkbbnow.com, getkbbnow.com, you can have this entire course at a price we've never sold it before, ever. Over 38,000 people. We have never sold it before. You can grab it for $1,695. And we even did something we've never done before, too. This is crazy times. We have a payment plan that we feel is exactly what everyone asked for. You pay $497 down and then just 6 payments of $300. You have the opportunity to get all of that today. And here's the cool part. It comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee. There's no question. If this isn't the greatest investment you ever made in your entire life, you let us know. Because this is when you become a part of this community, the greatest thing will be when you enroll today, go get in the Facebook group and watch the love, watch the support, watch what's going on in there. The Facebook community, which most people tell us is one of the most important things in this group. If you're already in KBB, let them know what this community is about, where we're in there nonstop on a regular basis. I'm in there every single week supporting people. Tony's in there. The team is in there. It is unbelievable. You're never going to be left alone. Again, all of that today. Can you pull these up, Mike? Pull up these slides. You get the Knowledge Broker Blueprint updated course for today's world at a $5,000 value. You get the World Summit ticket. Never included that before, ever. And the price has always been $2,000 without that ticket. You get the Mastermind Implementation Package, the 7-week bonus. All of it comes up to over $5,900 today for $1,697. And let me just ask you this as we hear, because you have two choices. Like, let's just be honest. Right now, there's two choices. You go, oh, God, I know that feeling. Like, I want this. I think I could do it. I've tried stuff in the past and I've failed. Will I do it? Will I carry it across the finish line? Should I spend the money? Should I not? I know that feeling. I've been there. Can I really do it? I get that. So you have two choices right now. The choice is leave life the way it is, and we hope something gets better. And I do. And you know Tony, and he's going to be here in a little bit. I got a special message from Tony here. You're going to love it. But you know that. I don't want you. We hope the absolute best for you. But we don't want you out searching for the next best thing. If this is something that excites you, if you saw the power of the knowledge industry, if you know for a fact that you're called to serve, called for another level, and you have something to give the world, if this is something that you could see impact and success for you and your family, then we want you to work with us because we know we have the capabilities to get there. So you have a choice to stay or take that action and take a leap of faith. You know, all change starts in a moment of decision. All change starts with just saying, I'm in, without dabbling, not one foot in the door, not pretending you want more, but then not gaining the capabilities. Trying on your own is brutal. But when you can learn from people who've had 60 years experience, you have the opportunity to pay for speed. And that's really what you're doing today, is we're condensing our decades into what we believe is the greatest course ever created in the greatest industry that allows us to serve and create success at the same time. Because think about this. If getting this course today, if all of it did was allow you to launch your first training, mastermind, workshop, get something where you can impact people's lives and create success, would it be worth it? Would it be worth it for you to have it? What if it was just, would it be worth you to be enrolled in this course if you finally had a community and a team that supported you, that won't leave you behind, that doesn't allow you to be the silent minority, to look at other people getting ahead and have envy? The hell with that. Would it be worth it if you finally had the path, the blueprint, and people supporting you? I think the answer is absolutely yes. And would it be worth it to get this course if you could wake up every day knowing you're working on something that fills your heart, not just pays the bills? I think the answer is absolutely yes. And at the end of the day, and at the end of your life, right, we have, if we had one of two choices, we could create massive success in our life or make massive impact. Why choose? When you have the opportunity to be a part of the knowledge industry, you could do both, success and impact. And lastly, I love this quote by Albert Einstein. He said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you're ready for something different, you have to gain new thinking, new capabilities. You have to take uncomfortable action. You have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to learn from people who've already been there. If not, 5 years from now will be the same as the last 5 years. So that's why we do trainings like this. That's why I have a smile on my face, and I'm so excited because I know so many of you will enroll and be a part of this family, and we can help you make those shifts to do something different, but not on your own, and not guessing and not dreaming, but having the blueprint to do it. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, you can go to getkbbnow.com. Get enrolled. This is a limited time offer, especially adding that ticket and all the cool stuff, that price. All of this is a limited time offer. You guys know this will go away. You come back in a week or so, this offer will be gone, and that's a true story. We're doing this special for everybody who is a part of our ASF and a part of our communities and part of our social media and been giving us so much love back. We wanted to create something special. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play a quick little reel of people who are already a part of KBB. While I'm playing that, go to getkbbnow.com and get enrolled. And when we come back, I'll do a little FAQ, and we'll hear from Mr. Tony Robbins. So don't go anywhere. We got lots of cool stuff coming, but watch this quick video, get enrolled. We'll be back in less than 5 minutes.
It's been a crazy journey because it changed everything.
Without having the credentials and the expertise, I don't know that I don't think I ever could have done this.
When I saw other people in the course that were having success, and I thought, if one can do it, so can many. Why not me?
You know, I had to make the decision, was I going to go into KBB or not? And I remember being scared out of my mind.
I wish that this existed when I had first started. And then when I started going through it, I realized that you had a greater structure and greater support than what I had experienced before.
Anybody else out there that's thinking about whether or not they should do this, do it. You have to burn those boats. Just go for it.
KBB really taught me the process of extracting this hidden treasures that I possess and that other people possess, like everybody on here. And how do you package it in a way that can be delivered to the masses?
I was able to impact 100 people. It was a 3-month course that I launched.
And I had lost everything. I was a single mom. I had 3 kids. My son had passed away. He died in my arms. I really just kind of shut down emotionally, and it made me shut down financially. I lost my only source of income. I went through bankruptcy, foreclosure, tax audits. I even had to go to tax court, and I had to defend myself in federal tax court, and I won on all charges. I paid off all my debt.
You know, I spent the past 10 years, you know, building a career that, to be honest, was someone else's dream.
Once you get involved in this amazing community and this amazing family that Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins have created, if you take that step and you jump and you throw everything at it, there's so many people that are willing to help you and inspire you and give you the answers that you don't know. None of us knew any of these answers. Like, my wife and I are not tech people at all, like at all. But you guys did such an amazing job that it enabled us to not only understand it for ourselves, but then to go teach that to other small business owners.
I'm the only parent, so I'm the only person who can do that. I have to bring him to school, pick him up. So I have very little time to work, actually. And I didn't know how I was going to do it in less hours. And now I'm able to do it. So I'm able to spend a lot of time with my son, and I'm able to work.
It's coming from someone who had no idea what they were going to do when they first started, had been trying to do things for 15 years, and had made $0 at that point in my life. You know, trying all sorts of different things, and suddenly everything was just happening this 1 month.
Not only is anything possible, but it's plausible, and there's a process to show you exactly how to do it.
I saw also other single moms who are doing it, and I thought, okay, if they're doing it, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to see where I end up, and yeah, it turned out really well.
What you and Tony have created is a PhD level course on exposure.
My marriage is better than it's ever been. My life is better than it's ever been. I'm a better mom than I've ever been.
You thought enough in your life, and a lot of your thoughts, which are all the way up here, stops you from the impact that you were really truly created for. So what I'm going to tell you right now, stop thinking, just do it.
Hey guys, I love watching all those incredible people from all different backgrounds doing some awesome stuff. Thank you for all the great comments, guys. I see though we have so many of our KBB family members in the chat sharing how great it was. Thank you for that love. Wait till you become a part of this community. You're going to freak out. Those of you who went and got enrolled, awesome. Remember, this truly does go away. This particular offer, I saw some people say we paid more, but we have such a great community. They know this is a special time in the world. It's a special price, but it's limited. So if this is the thing that's your calling, if you're called for more, we'd love to have you. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read. We had so many great questions come in. My team looks for the questions that one question will answer so many of you. I'm going to answer just a few of them, and then we got a special message from Tony Robbins, so don't go anywhere. So let me start here. Carol asked, I don't mind talking to people, but it's hard for me to talk about my products and opportunity. Carol, I so get that. And here's where I want to tell you it's different. When you look through the eyes of, I'm going to use Jamie, that helped my wife get that course. Or I know someone, you know, there's so many different things that help people. When you look through a different lens of, everybody hear this. What if you knew you were doing people a disservice if you didn't share your experience? Think about this. What if Jamie got scared and said, oh, I don't like talking about what I figured out myself. I mean, I like talking to people, but I don't want to ask for the money, or I don't want to talk about the opportunity. What if she kept that knowledge inside? My son literally is not cured from eczema yet, but he's 80% better because of what Jamie and other great people have done by sharing their knowledge. If Jamie didn't take uncomfortable action, if she didn't stand up and say, I'm going to film this course and I'm going to share it and I'm going to ask money for it, if she didn't, we wouldn't have that information. She actually would have done my family a disservice and all the other families she's helping, or the people that help someone through a divorce, or help someone through joy, or help someone get a job when they can't speak English, or help someone with their finances, or help someone with dance, or help someone pivot their business. All of those things people need. So I want you to, we've been programmed that selling or sharing is not good because we watched shows when we were kids about selling is cheesy. Yes, selling is bad if you sell a bad car, if you sell a lemon to someone, if you sell drugs to someone, if you sell alcohol to someone who's an alcoholic, that's bad. But when you're providing a service that could impact people's lives, you'll never feel like you're selling again. And when you shift that mindset, Carol, I promise this will be the most exciting thing you've ever done in your life. Nikki asked, I feel like I need to know a lot more before I can teach people. I think that's an absolute one of the big ones. That's why my team picked it. Remember this. You just have to be one chapter ahead of someone. I'm not saying if you've never done something and now you're going to teach it. But if you were in sales, let me just ask you, if you were in sales, Nikki, and you spent a year figuring out how to know this sale, sell this product, you failed miserably, you got doors slammed on you or hung up on, but after 6 months you got momentum. After 8 months you started doing great. 10 months you're crushing it. Let me just ask you, if you're just 1 year ahead in sales and someone brand new comes in that day, do you have enough to help them do a bridge for that first year? Let me ask you another way, Nikki, and I'll ask everyone. If you had the opportunity to spend 1 day with your 5-year younger self or 1 day with your 20-year-old self, how much would that be worth to you? Put that in the chat right now. How much would it be worth to you if you could spend 1 day with your 20-year-old self? Now, some of you might be 20. Would it be priceless? Yeah, I always get priceless or millions. Look at all the priceless coming in, right? That's all we're doing. Someone is starting off where you used to be. And you have the opportunity to bridge that gap to allow them to go faster. Some of you might have 20 years in this experience. Some of you might have just gone to classes like Del Jane. Some of you might be 2 years in, but you forget how much you learned and how much you failed. And someone else is going to fail if you don't help them. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Tony and I's goal is to make everyone feel guilty if they die with knowledge in their head they're not sharing. Together, we need to lock arms and make self-education the new norm. That's how we fix this crazy world. Nobody's coming to fix it for us. We have to do it. It's time for us to be role models and leaders. It's time for us to share what we know. Jeff asked, can I get started with KBB immediately? Well, of course. I know we got a lot of those questions. Yeah, you get instant access. You enroll today. Go to getkbbnow.com. In moments, you have access. You'll be in Module 1 learning from Tony. But let me just warn you, you won't be able to sleep tonight. Tony fires you up. He climbs into your soul. That Module 1 is just off the charts. So plan on a long night, but yes, instant access. Lindsay asked, I feel like there's so many people out there doing this. How do I start out? Isn't there a lot of people doing a lot of things, but do they do it right? How many restaurants are out there? But there's probably only a few that you frequent. You see, most people are doing this without guidance. Most people want to be in this business, but they don't know the strategies and the tactics, and they're trying to figure it out on their own, and that is brutal. I mean, people will say, oh, how do I get on Instagram? Oh, Facebook. How do I get followers? Should I get more followers on TikTok? Maybe that'll be the new thing. Do I do paid ads? Do I do free ads? Oh, my God. Maybe I should do viral videos, but where do I start? Maybe that's just for kids. And all of a sudden you get overwhelmed and you go, and you do nothing. It's because you don't have guidance. Of course it's overwhelming. And most people are out there. That was Lindsay, right? Lindsay, most people are out there trying to figure it out on their own. And even though you see them, they're not really impacting lives or creating success. And that's why Tony and I stepped in. We needed a gold standard training and course that would shift people's lives. And that's what we created. That's why this is a movement. That's why we have more success stories than I've ever seen on anything I've ever created in my career. It freaks out Tony and I every single day. We are so excited. It's why we put so much time. It's so much effort. It's why in the Facebook group, I'm in there live every single week. Why? I'm addicted to the momentum people have and the impact we're making. The truth of the matter is, Tony and I get to impact a lot of lives, but our legacy will be that we hope is that we help empower you guys to be the ones out there training, and then no one can stop us. Think how many lives collectively we could change. So, yeah, Lindsay, there's a lot of people doing it, but most people aren't doing it right. That's why you become a part of KBB, so you could be the ones that stand out. Christina asked, do you recommend testing a knowledge product or idea before running with it? Of course, you could test it. What we suggest is do a challenge. There's a little training in there on how to do a challenge, or get people to come for free on a free Facebook group and share your information. Listen, if you think of a comedian, right? A comedian had to go to a million different dive bars before they had the opportunity, a million different dive bars to film to understand what jokes worked and what jokes didn't, right? They tested it out, and then all of a sudden they got famous and had all great jokes. It's kind of the same thing here. We teach you in such an incremental way. I mean, if you're already in the game, you can go to phase 2. But if you're not, we show you slowly how to build your confidence, narrow down that niche, know exactly what to share, and make an impact. So if you want to go straight to a course like so many people you saw today, or you want to incrementally go and do a few free ones, absolutely, and we show both. Okay, Alan asked, really need help extracting what I know. Will this for sure help me? Yeah, Alan, we know that. Tony and I were on stage one day and said, what's the #1 reason you wouldn't do it? It's like, I don't know what to teach. Everybody in that room had knowledge that the world needed. And when we were done, we watched a whole audience be like, oh my God. And that's the same thing you'll get in Module 2. We call it Extract It. I kind of went through it quick. Let me just tell you the end result of Module 2. You will have absolute confidence on knowing what you're going to teach. You will narrow it down like on the board, 7 million, smaller, smaller, smaller. You'll know exactly what you're going to teach, and you know exactly who you're going to teach it to. It might be for you, Alan, that'll be the aha module for you. Like, all right, I got this. I know what I'm teaching. Now on to marketing. And then Lindy asked, what's the difference between KBB and the Mastermind implementation software? So Mastermind teaches you how to do it. The software is how to get it up, forward-facing, on a directory, out to the world. It's the implementation, right? Remember we said we had 4 things? We need the mindset, the strategies, and the tools, and the marketing. That's all in the course, right? The immersion is, we included the live event tickets. And then you need to implement, take action, and make it real. Because if you have it all, you have a course, have a training, you know what you want to do, but how do I get it out there? Then you have no place to get out to the world. That's why we built Mastermind and the implementation tool to make it real. So, guys, that was the top questions that I think answered so many of your questions. But now we got a quick message from Mr. Tony Robbins. I know that's queued up, ready to go. Remember, as soon as you're done, this course, this opportunity, the course will be available, but this price with these bonuses won't. So write it down, getkbbnow.com and grab that before it's gone. And I hope we're ready. Let's hear Mr. Tony Robbins.
Thank you, Dean. Welcome, everybody. Listen, I just want to acknowledge Dean for a second. Dean and I have been dear friends for over a decade. And, he comes across as such a nice guy, and he is. He's even nicer in person than he is here. He's one of the most generous souls I know, but he's also brilliant. And the brilliance didn't come from just being a genius. He earned that genius because for 20 years, he's put his nose to the grindstone, and he's obsessed with finding ways to do the same thing I believe in. That's why we're such dear friends. Finding a way to do more for others than anybody else in the category. How do you add more value? If you want to know the secret to success in life and in business, it's do more for others than anybody else in the category, and you will build a brand, and people will start to seek you out. And, he's got 20 years of experience. Between us, we have almost 65 years of experience. This is my 44th year training and teaching people. Now, at that point, I'd have to know something. I'd have to be an idiot at this point not to know there are patterns that will cause you to succeed and patterns that will cause you to fail. It's not you, it's patterns, it's habits. Habits of thinking, habits of motion, habits of action or inaction. So I just want to tell you, if you change those basic patterns, you can not only change your own life, but you can help so many other people do the same. And so I really want to thank you, Dean. And I just want to tell all of you, between us, 64 years, I guess, is the real number. That's how much experience we have. So there's 2 ways to learn in life. One is learn by your own experience. That's really painful because there's so many ups and downs, you may not get there. And the other is what I learned years ago when I studied Jim Rohn, my original teacher. He used to say, Tony, success leaves clues. If you want to be successful, find someone who succeeded again and again, not for a day, not for a week, not for a year, for a decade. They're not lucky. Sow the same seeds, you'll reap the same rewards. Doesn't matter your age, your background, your gender, your color. All it matters is that you model what works. And he said, also figure out what failures do and don't do that, right? So for 44 years, that's what I've been doing and sharing it. I first used it to change my own life, and then I changed it to help other people change their life. So I got a question for you, though. If you had to pick between making lots of money and having a life that feels meaningful, impactful, where you're making a difference in other people's lives and you see it and feel it and get that emotional feedback from people all around you, which would you pick? I mean, there is no limit to the size and scope of what you can do in this industry. But what changed me, what allowed me to not only have the impact and the economics be successful for me and for all my employees, was constantly using the power of self-education. See, if you think about what really shapes your life most, it's what I call invisible forces. That's not being cute. It's just true. What influences your life the most? Things you take for granted. Gravity. Too much and you're crushed. Too little and you float away and you're dead. Radiation. Radiation is what makes life happen. The right amount of radiation from the sun, we're in this Goldilocks spot as a planet, and we have life everywhere. Too much radiation, we fry. And then you can think about things like electricity. You can light up a city or kill somebody. Depends on the amount of intensity and where it goes. But maybe the most important invisible forces of all are human emotions, love and hate. See, Emotions determine what you're going to do or not do and the quality that you're going to bring to it. And so all of this can be shifted through one single power, which I call self-education. I mean, think about it. I started out in a family where no one had ever succeeded in business or finance in any way, shape, or form. We had tremendous challenges in the relationships of my family. I have 4 different fathers, to give you an idea. My mom was a good human being, but we were always broke. My fathers worked hard. We had no money for food. Some of you know I feed more than 100 million meals a year here in the United States. I committed to feed 1 billion people over 10 years, and we're in our 7th year, and we're already over 700 million meals. We're ahead of schedule. We're going to feed 1 billion people. But all that came because I went without, and I had to figure out what to do, and there were no role models for me around me. So my role models started with audio programs and books, and then seminars. My original teacher, Jim Rohn, that I mentioned, and I started learning and growing. And it took me from a kid with no compelling future, no plan, no strategy, my traditional education couldn't get me where I wanted to go. My parents were frustrated and overwhelmed. There was so much upset, so lack of certainty about the future or even the present. And sometimes no food. That's why I feed people. And all that turned around so that over the last, 43, this is going to be my 44th year doing this now. I've just begun. In 44 years, I've had the privilege and the joy and the incredible experience of coaching millions of people around the world to improve their life physically, in their bodies, their energy, their vitality, in their relationships, in their finances, in their business, in their career, and also just in their emotional well-being and fitness and passion and aliveness. And I've worked with everybody you can imagine. I've worked with 5 different presidents, all the living presidents and ones that have passed. I've worked with 4 different royal families now. I've worked with everybody from Serena Williams, to give you an idea, to Pitbull. I mean, just across the board, some of the greatest sports teams, athletes, entertainers on earth. And all that privilege came from a kid who had 0 background, but decided, I'm going to self-educate. I'm not going to have a standard education, because we all know the education system is broken. How many people do you know have all this massive student debt? And you know what? 73% of the people who go to college and get a 4 or extended your degree, bachelor's or going to doctorate, anything of that nature, 73% of them do not even work in an industry related to what they went to college for, of which they spend $30,000 to $50,000 a year, something $200,000-$300,000 in debt. For what? And most of them, even doing this, more than half say they're completely unfulfilled by what they do. So what's the solution? The solution is not just a traditional education. By the way, that education cost has gone insane. In 20 years, it's up 800%. Do you know we have 115 universities here in the United States that have over $1 billion endowment? They're basically hedge funds attached to a school. That's really what it is. And they're charging ridiculously because we all guarantee the loans. That's why student debt now is bigger than credit card debt. $1.5 trillion. For what? So if you and I want a different life than the average person, we got to do something other people don't do. So many people are now going to vocational schools, which is fantastic. You can make over $100,000 being a plumber in many cities in the United States right now. Electricians, the opportunities are there, but most people don't know what they are. But if you decide to become self-educated, you can start to do what I've done throughout my life. You can start to compress decades into days, where you can learn in a few weeks, a few months, or a few days what might have taken somebody by trial and error 10 or 20 years to learn. That's what I learned from my teacher, Jim Rohn. Success leaves clues. So why would you spend all the time and energy trying to reinvent the wheel if someone's already got a proven pathway to power, a proven pathway to success? And so in order to do that, you got to learn by other people's experience, not your own. And if you'll do that, you'll find yourself in a place where you're looking for people that really get results. Not somebody who can talk a good game, but who can deliver it. And once you learn it, once you learn something that can change your body, your emotions, or your kids, or your relationship, or get rid of acne, there's so many self-education opportunities. I think we have like 6,500 categories now all over the world. We've got people from 100 different countries that are participating with our KBB programs, and they're all sharing their experience with each other, learning and growing and earning. But how cool is it to learn something that totally changes your life? What's the first thing you want to do when you have a great experience of anything that just is beautiful in your life, that changes your life? The first thing you want to do is share with someone you love, right? Well, what if you could learn to share it? You could literally learn how to share it, practice it, Do it all within a system in a few moments, like doing just a live mastermind. Learn from each one, get better and better, and be part of a community where you're learning also how to market it, and not just how to create it and design it, but then a system that helps you to market it and then deliver it and keep getting better and better and better every time. In the beginning, I was a knowledge broker. We didn't call it then, but it's like I went to work for Jim Rohn. This man, I saw his 3.5-hour seminar. I was blown away by who he is. I didn't have those skills, but I wanted everybody to experience what I'd experienced. So I went to work for him. I convinced him to let me come work for him. I was just a kid, 17. And I learned how to go out. And in those days, it was hard to promote. I mean, you had to print real brochures and they cost you a lot of money. And I remember I went to go do my first seminar after I promoted Jim Rohn for a lot of years. I learned it. Then I decided I wanted to do my own. I ran all these ads, and cost a lot of money. I had to do it in the LA Times. I was doing it in Los Angeles, the Herald, Examiner, all these magazines and newspapers. And then I rented a room at the Hilton Hotel in downtown LA. And I thought for sure, it's a free seminar. I wasn't even trying to make money. I just wanted to help people. I thought for sure I'm going to get at least 500 people to show up. Spent all this money, all this time, and 7 people showed up, and they were spread out all over this giant room. I was like, why don't you all come down to the front row here? That's how I started. And I gave them everything I could for 3.5 hours. Probably killed these poor people, right? Because I was ready for 500 and 7 were there, but I gave my all. And you know what's interesting? It built. Because I did that, they told other people, and it got better, and it got bigger, and it got bigger. So this is not some overnight get-rich-quick scheme. If you want that, go to some BS person who's going to lie to you. But if you want to create a career path that you could do part-time on the side, or COVID's got in the way, you want a new business, and you want to learn how to be able to learn, grow, share, give, and earn, I don't know a better opportunity, and I know a better industry. So the size of the market is huge, and you can do it from wherever you are, and you can get your feet wet. You can do it with a small number of people, 8 or 10. You can do it with a mastermind, or you can promote somebody else. So if you want to take advantage of the combined 64 years of knowledge the two of us have and the privileges we have to be able to make a difference to people all over the world, the emotional joy that we get from it, and the economic freedom as well, then you got to get yourself educated about the self-education system. You got to learn. And how do you do that? We're offering it to you today. So those who've already made the decision, congratulations. Those who haven't, I hope I can push you over the edge. And my passion for this is I want you to experience the privilege I've had for over 40, my 44th year. It's wild. So what do you got to do? Simple. Just suspend your fear and tap into some courage. I saw a movie one time, I don't remember what it was, but they had this phrase I thought was so good. They said, all it takes is 15 seconds of courage to change your whole life. It's like you're scared shitless, but you just do it anyway. Courage, by the way, doesn't mean you're not afraid. Courage means you're scared, but you do it anyway. That's the only reason I'm here. I've had so many times where it seemed impossible, but I pushed through it and I kept educating myself and I kept giving and learning and giving and learning and growing and giving and learning. And then all of a sudden you wake up and boy, your life is greater than your dreams. But most people just dream. They don't do anything. So if you want to be someone who actually lives your dream, there's only one answer: massive action. How do you do it? Suspend your fear or keep feeling it, but push your courage forward and just take action anyway. And put yourself in a position where you just start to adopt a belief that there are answers. In the middle of COVID, you get conditioned after a while to start feeling like you don't have any control of your life. You're right if you believe that. But listen, if you believe there is a way, I'm going to find the way, and there are people that have already done it, you're going to show you, and then you take action on it, you're going to get momentum, you're going to start to grow, and you're going to start to create a new pathway. So if you want a compelling 2021, it's time. Make a decision right now here to join us, and don't just decide. Get yourself, hit the link, get yourself enrolled, and get started. Because in life, the only thing that really shapes us is decisions. It's not your conditions. We all have horrible conditions at times. We've all been through hell. If you haven't been through it, you probably will in the future. How's that for a compelling future? But we all are. We're all going to have tough, stressful times. That's the one thing that's universal. If you're rich or poor, you're going to have it. If you have a great family or not, you're going to have super stressful times. Life happens. The question is, what are you going to do with it? And most people look for a reason why they haven't succeeded, but a small number of people say, I'm going to find the way. And one thing I've learned in my life is grab the opportunity. If you're hearing me right now and you've heard Dean right now and you put yourself in this position, there's a reason. And it's not just sit back on your bum and do nothing. I don't think. You have to decide. But if you take action, I can promise you, you're going to open a door to a new world. That's what this KBB business is all about. So I hope I've stimulated your interest. And Dean, thanks for letting me jump on with all of you for a few short moments. But in the end, it's your decisions, not your conditions, that shape your life. So choose well and choose right now. In the meantime, I hope I get a chance to meet you and become part of our family, but whether you do or not, I wish you only the best. Live strong, live with passion, and God bless.
Man, I'm still, I've known Tony for 25 years, and he's been a dear friend for a decade, and in the last 3 years, we talk pretty much every day. And still, when Tony talks, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, I'm still mesmerized. I still take notes. He still, speaks to your soul in such a good way. It's been such a privilege and an honor and a pleasure to be his partner. And really, this is a passion project for both of us. The last thing Tony needed was to do another thing, and he's all in on what we've created. All in on when you dive inside the course, you'll see his passion in there, because we know this is something that can really serve you, especially in this shifting time in the world. Listen, we wish you the absolute best in anything that you're working on. But if this is something that sparked your interest today, we hope we get to serve you and show you how to be a part of it. We're almost at the end here. Thank you for spending this time today. But what I wanted to do one more time, we had so many questions about the course and the training. I must have went through it too quick. So I'm just going to take 5 minutes here real fast and go through the offer one more time for those of you who had any last questions so you don't miss out. And if you know anything about Tony and I, when we share this is a special price and these are special bonuses, it's not just a saying. When you come back in a week from now, this offer won't be there. And we just wanted to create something special at this time, especially because so many of you have been with us and sharing with us and learning from us. And so many have asked, how do I create my own economy in this shifting world? And we wanted to pull back the curtain and show you one way that we think is absolutely magical. So let me go through that KBB course and everything you get. I'll do it in 5 minutes. And then hopefully you get enrolled. And then immediately go into the Facebook group and say hi. And watch how this community invites you in, brings you in, and helps you, and you're part of something bigger. So Mike, go ahead and pull that up. I started with, of course, you get the KBB course. This is the new 3.0 version. We updated it for virtual. We built this course before COVID, and now that it's post-COVID, we had to go in and update. And if you're already a part of KBB, you get those updates. They'll be in your back office this week. Remember, we started with you needed 4 things. I really want you to think about that, because that's first any success in your life. Whether you enroll with us or anything you want to do, you need the right mindset or you'll retreat. You need the right strategies and tactics from someone who's already done it, not the person that's been in it for 5 weeks and pretends they're a millionaire and they have all the answers, right? You got to remember that. Learn from those living the life you want to live. Third, you have to immerse yourself. Go all in. Can't dabble. Got to burn the boats, right? Has a relationship in your life ever worked when you weren't all in, right? A diet plan, exercise? No, you got to immerse yourself, right? It's like speaking a new language. And last, you need to implement. You need to take that uncomfortable action and put it in play. Face those fears, because your next level of life lives on the other side of that. So this is what we created. First part, and set it. This is the mindset training that everybody goes nuts over. Tony will blow your mind. He went all in on this to give you an unstoppable mindset. And isn't that what we need in a shifting world like right now, especially in this year? If we want this to be our comeback year, we need that mindset. So by the time you're done with Module 1, be ready to feel like you're on too many coffees, because Tony fires you up. And then we go right into Module 2, which is Extract It. This is where you gain the confidence to know exactly what is the commodity, the knowledge that I'm going to share, or what I've learned from someone else. Am I going to broker someone else's knowledge, or am I going to share my experience, my mess? Once you do that, then we flip it upside down. You learn how to identify your ideal client. By the time you're done with this module, you know what you teach, how to teach, who to teach it to, and you'll have tools that'll blow your mind and be ready to teach it. The third part, once you have the mindset and you know what you're going to teach and who you're going to teach it to, is how do you fill it? And that's marketing mastery. And this is where I shine. And I'm going to show you that you'll never sell again when you're serving people. When you can learn the hook, story, close strategy that I've used over 2 decades to elegantly share, to stand out. It's like a room of people with black shirts on. You have the only red shirt on. How do people notice you? And then how do you get people enrolled to say yes and do it through service so you feel amazing about it, that you feel guilty if you're not getting people to say yes? We start up high with tactics and strategies and get down to, I should say, with strategy and get all the way down to the tactics and how you do it and how to build the pages and what it should look like and how do you upload it onto mastermind.com and all those pieces. Everything is in here. There's nothing left out. And you'll learn how to market on Facebook and YouTube. And pull that slide up, Mike. This is our wagon wheel, right? Instagram, TikTok, all these places. How do you use social media instead of it using you? Then we get to run it. How do you use this virtual world to share your knowledge around the world. Yes, you could write a book and take a year to do it, or in 3 weeks from now, you could be doing a virtual training, a weekend workshop, sharing what you've experienced to people who want exactly what it is and need what you're sharing. So by the time you're done with these modules, you have the mindset, the strategies, the tactics, you know how to market it, you know how to run it. And that's why this course, and people are going absolutely crazy over this. Lisa and Laura, and bring up these slides, Mike. When it came to pricing, this is the part I really want you to hear. Like, Tony has a waiting list of people that want to give him $1 million a year. He has a waiting list of people that want to give him close to $100,000 a year for platinum. And if you're part of platinum, congratulations. It's absolutely amazing. He's spent so many years fine-tuning his craft that this knowledge is priceless, because we know where to hit. We know how to make this work. We know how to avoid the potholes, right? So if you had to hire Tony for the amount of time he's even in this course, the time, effort, and energy he put in there would be absolutely priceless. Like I said, I feel blessed. I get paid up to $200,000 for 90 minutes on stage. So we were putting this price together. $20,000, $10,000 would have been a steal. I think $5,000 would be an absolute steal, because you don't have to figure it out on your own. What is your time worth? What is the failure worth? What, even worse, what's it worth when you can't figure it out and then you retreat back to a life that you're not 1,000% happy with, right? So when you look at that value, $5,000 would be an absolute steal. Next is we wanted the immersion part, right? Now that you have the course and the mindset and the tactics and strategy, this is where you go all in and become a part of an event that will blow your mind. You saw the video earlier. This was a truly special event. It sold out last year. We're going to be doing it again this year with me and Tony and some amazing guests. You will be glued to your screen for 3 days straight. You'll be vibrating. And we've never done this before. You're going to get a VIP ticket. That's a $695 ticket. And this is the only time we've ever offered that. But extraordinary times, extraordinary opportunity, right? And that comes out to $5,695 in real value. But then this is the last part. This is your implementation. This is the obsession. This took over 2 years. In the progression, I just want to share this with you. Couldn't say if it wasn't true. The software progression, we have spent over $1 million to create this platform for you. Over $1 million. Like, if you wanted to create this for yourself, you would spend $1 million to have a technology that's so easy that you could be up and running in no time. One that you could watch and make sales and have the back office and hook your merchant account up all in minutes, and then have a worldwide directory where we're spending money to get eyeballs there. This is absolutely priceless. This is the game changer. This is the implementation tool, and we're giving you 6 full months access to this amazing software platform. And you look, you know, like I said, 14 sales in her first week, 2 sales her first day, sale the first day, 11 sales. I'm not saying you're going to put it up, set it, and forget it, but it's great to see regular people having extraordinary results, and it lights Tony and I up. And we are at almost $6,000 in value, real value, that you have access to. I'll go through this really quick. Lastly, you get a 6-week walkthrough. We don't want anybody left behind. We know some things can distract you if you're not sure it's going to work. The heck with that. If you stay with us right now, you'll be with us for 6 weeks to make sure we walk you through each one of those modules so you can join the club and graduate and then go put this in play. No more dabbling. No more bought it and set it and forget it. This is about making it real in one of the most amazing industries that can allow impact and success. We didn't put a price on that, but it is absolutely priceless. Then we had the traffic and scaling bundle. Let me just tell you, at the end of this, with these amazing people, you'll know how to build and stick a community better than ever with Stu McLaren. You'll know how to build or scale a podcast. You'll know how to get virtual stages or speak on stages if that's something you desire. You'll know how to get your first 100 followers and have use social media rather than it using you. You don't have to do an infomercial and all the crazy stuff Tony and I had to do. You could tap into what's happening right now in this shift in the world. This bonus alone, I believe, is worth the price of the entire course. It will blow your mind. It's included for free today. That's a value of $6,000 because we didn't put priceless. We could have put some price on there of $10,000 and it would be worth it, but we didn't sell it, so we put it as priceless. This value of about $6,000 you can get today, not at $19.97. We took off the price of ASF because so many of you already have it. Some of you don't. That's okay. You're getting this lucky discount today that we've never done before. We've never sold it at this price. Right now, if you go to getkbbnow.com, you can get it for $1,695. $495, a price we've never offered before, a price that you won't see. It's no place else in the world, a price that'll go away. Or you can grab it for $497 down and 5 payments of $300. That's a price plan we've never offered before. We usually just do, I think, 1 and 3 pay. This is a payment plan because we don't want anyone to miss out. Listen, if this is going to take food off the table, please, this is not the time. But if you're ready to learn from people who've been there, if this industry excites you, if you're sick of being left behind, if you're sick of playing small, if you want a roadmap, if you want that blueprint, then I encourage you to click the link below or go to, I guess you got to go to getkbbnow.com. Getkbbnow.com. Hopefully they pinned it below. If not, write that URL down and go to it, because here's the thing. If you decide and say, oh, you know, I'm going to do this next week, when you come back, you could still buy KBB. It'll be available forever, and we'll keep updating it. But you won't get these bonuses and this price. Of course, it comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee. And think about it. You know, at this time, this is minutes away from ending. And I know this feeling. I've been there. I know that feeling like, oh, my God, should I go for it? I've tried things in the past. Maybe next time. I get that feeling. And again, if this is going to take food off the table, no, don't do this. But if you're ready, just think about how fast the last 5 years went, right? How fast will the next 5 years go? If you have the path and plan, then stay on your path and plan. I get it. Tony and I want to support your bigger future. But if you're not guided, if you're not a part of a community, if you don't really have the blueprint and you don't have someone to model and you're doing it on your own, I'd hate for you to try and then miss this opportunity. So as Tony said, courage can happen in a moment. This is about taking courageous action, but only take the action if you're ready to dive in and make this real. We want you to be a part of this, but we want you to get the results, not just buy the course and set it there. So if you're ready to take that courage, if you believe in Tony and I, if you want to work with people who've already done it, and I hope you know we truly care, then we'd love for you to be a part of the KBB family. So you get KBB now. Price, get the tickets, get all the bonuses, enroll, jump in the community, say hi to everybody. And it's a pleasure and a privilege that to have you here, guys. Thank you for being in the Zoom. Thank you for being on YouTube. Thank you for all the beautiful comments. Thank you for allowing us to share. It's been a privilege and a pleasure. I hope I served you today by pulling back the curtain and showing you this incredible opportunity, showing you the possibilities. I hope I inspired you for more and see what's possible. I hope all the incredible people we highlighted today allowed you to see ordinary people doing extraordinary things in this same time in history, with the same overwhelm, with the same being scared, feeling like an imposter, not having the money, not having family support, but they moved forward. They took uncomfortable action, and they had incredible results. And we'd love the same for you. Thanks so much for spending these 2 hours with us. Thank you for being here. And again, I hope I did you a disservice. Did you a service by showing you the opportunity in front of you. So if this is for you, remember, it truly will be gone. In a week from now, this offer won't be here, I promise you. So go to getkbbnow.com and enroll, and we'll see you Monday live, and we'll see you on the weekly training. Take care, everybody.